Hey, YouTube, it's Chris. Welcome back to my life. So we're back on the timeline 1978. I was 6 years old as the year began. It began as way too many years with Michigan losing the Rose Bowl, and things didn't get much better. Um, Early in January, I got a D in handwriting in first grade from my own mother. I have the report card to prove it. Probably can't see it, but anyway, I did. Good news is that my handwriting improved at some point during the year. Again, I've got a gladogram. Listen to this crap. Chris has shown much improvement in the area of handwriting. He can do extremely well when he wants to. Was this a teacher or a mother? Both. Gets better. He has also started to improve in behavioral areas, especially in regards to aggression against other students. Me? I'm an angel. I don't know what she's talking about. Anyway, I turned 7 years old that year, and I got, on my birthday no less, a seal of approval. Not for the handwriting, not for the so-called aggression, for reciting all my prayers. That's the beauty of the Catholic school. Can you write? Can you read? Can you do handwriting? Can you do math? Who cares? We just want you to say our goddamn prayers. But what I really wanted to talk about is that 1978 was another one of those defining moments in my life. And it happened the reason was earlier, but the actual defining moment happened in the summer. I can't remember if it was before or after the party that we had for my parents for graduating from getting their master's degrees. So earlier summer, later summer, I can't remember. All I remember is being in my parents' room, sitting on my mom and dad's bed, like I'm sitting on my bed now, and mom telling me, "Oh, good news. We're transferring you to another school next year." I was absolutely devastated. And the reasoning they gave me at the time was, "Oh, it's a bigger school. You'll have more opportunities." All I'm thinking of is I have to get used to a new school. I'm going to lose all my friends. I don't want to do this. And I actually hated my parents for like 30 years after that. And it wasn't until long after my father died that my mom finally told me the reason. And then it made sense. Now, would I have understood when I was 7? I doubt it, but it might have helped. And so at some point in 1978, I don't remember what month. I know that it was cold. It wasn't, I don't remember snow on the ground. I just remember the playground lady standing in front of me in her stupid down red coat. So it was cold enough for that. But I don't remember any snow. And it was because of that situation that I found out way later. Basically, what happened is I remember a very clear picture in my mind, standing in front of the playground lady, and she's reaming me out on the playground, and I have no idea why. Nothing made sense. I don't remember doing anything. So the way that things worked back then, we only had one car, and the three of us would get up on school days. Dad would drive Mom and I to Fatima, and then he'd have the car for the day and pick us up later. Sometimes Mom wouldn't be ready to go. She might be meeting with a parent for a conference or doing grading papers or whatever, and Dad and I would just hang out. This particular day that this happened, we were hanging out in the gym. Dad and I were playing basketball in the school gym, having the time of our lives. It was so much fun. It was one of those great moments with your father. And then in walks Mom with the goddamn playground lady. "Mr. Hurlburt, we need to talk about your son." And I'm like, what? But the game was over. And we went to sit down. I was sitting across from the playground lady. Mom was sitting next to her. Dad was sitting next to me. And I sit there and I am in complete shock as the playground lady is going on this whole narrative about what a horrible kid I am and not listening to her and blah, 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 whatever. So this is where it gets fun. She looks at me and she said, "I want you to write 50 times on a piece of paper, 'I will mind Mrs. Baxter on the playground.'" Now, keep in mind, I am either 6, I'm probably 6. Might have been 7, but I doubt it because of the weather. So I'm probably 6 years old. But the irony was not lost on me. I'm thinking about this immediately because it was not long before that I was in the car and Mom and Dad, both teachers, are talking about the stupidest possible punishment for kids is writing lines. So as I'm thinking this, my mother reaches across and she says, "No, he's not going to be doing that. Don't worry, we'll take care of it. But he's not going to be doing that. And I guess maybe mom and dad and I talked about it in the car on the way home. I don't know, but I know I didn't get in trouble or anything. And so 30 years or so later, I found out that was the reason I was transferred. That's the reason I lost my friends. That's the reason I went to a different school. That's the reason why, literally, I can pretty much trace everything that sucked in my life to that transfer to St. John's. Because my parents realized I was a good kid. Despite what was in the gladogram, I was a good kid. She was making it all up. She was pissed because her kid got a bad grade in my mom's class, and she was going after mom through me. And my parents decided that as long as I was in school there, that was going to continue to happen. So they removed me from that situation. So they did the right thing for me, but it still ruined my life. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, take care of yourselves, YouTube.